Hello and welcome to Thames Gateway Teaching School Hub. Today we are going to have a conversation with Nicola Taylor, who is Director of Programmes for ELSI, and is going to tell us a little bit more about the NPQ in Executive Leadership. So Nicola, thank you for joining us. We at Thames Gateway have had a number of inquiries about the executive leadership, and I believe that people would appreciate a little bit more clarity about who the course is aimed at and what are the benefits of taking the course and what does the course look like over the course of the 18 months. So just a few questions to get us started. So could you start by telling us who the executive leadership course is aimed at? What stage of career are you expecting people to be at to be able to access the course?
Certainly. So the NPQ NPQ Executive Leadership, is really aimed at those people who are ready to take the next step in their career. And it may be that at the moment they are working as a head, or it may be that they're working as an executive head across two schools, or they may even be working within a multi-academy trust in a role such as an education director. And it's really about taking that next step in your career and starting to think about leading an organisation at systems level. So that might be leading a multi-academy trust, leading a teaching school hub, for example, but it's aimed at people who will have that remit across a number of different educational settings, whether they be primary, secondary, special, colleges, but also people who are ready to work at systems leadership level.
Thank you. And can you tell us a little bit about how the course is structured and the sorts of things that people might be looking at as they go through the course?
Absolutely. So the course takes 18 months to complete, and we've structured the course into 4 different learning modules. Each of those learning modules focuses on a number of different areas from the NPQ framework, which is designed by the Department for Education. And within each of those modules, we spend 12 weeks studying the various components of the Learn That and Learn How To statements from the framework. And within those 12 weeks, we cover a range of different ways of accessing the materials. So, for example, the majority of the course is conducted through our online learning platform, where there are self-directed learning tasks which enable you to come into contact with some of the research. We don't just do that through requiring you to read, so we've also got videos and podcasts for you to access as part of that online material. You have the opportunity then to have personal reflection time online and to record your thoughts and respond to the activities as part of your learning through a learning journal, as well as taking part in a discussion forum with other cohorts and other participants who are on the course. We also have within each of those modules, those 12-week modules, 2 webinars that are led by your expert facilitators. And those webinars cover the majority of the learn how to statements. So the how do you actually get to grips with the activities and tasks that you would be required to do at that level of leadership. And then we also have a face-to-face day as well as part of those 12-week modules. Within those modules as well, you're supported not only by your expert facilitators, but also having access to an in-school coach and an external coach as part of that NPQ offer as well. In terms of the modules themselves, Module 1 covers governance, accountability and organisational management. Module 2 looks specifically at teaching, curriculum and assessment. Module 3 moves on to look at behaviour, additional and special educational needs and disabilities. And then finally in Module 4, we move on to look at professional development, implementation and working in partnership with others.
Thank you. So a really comprehensive cover of what you might face in executive leadership there. Can you just explain a little bit about how the course is assessed? Is that ongoing or is that a final assessment at the end? How does that work?
So I would say that's probably one of the biggest differences between the old NPQs and the new suite of NPQs. And this stands for all of the NPQ qualifications that are on offer at the moment. So it used to be the requirement that participants would have to undergo an ongoing continuous piece of project work, and that project work would then be assessed in order for them to gain the qualification. That's no longer a requirement of the course, although we do have opportunities for people to actually put into practice the things that they're learning about through the online platform and through the discussions and the face-to-face days and the webinars as well. But the assessment itself comes at the very end of the course, so it's a summative assessment. The Department for Education have designated an assessment window for each of the cohorts embarking on the courses. And within that assessment window, there is an 8-day period for the participants to both receive and respond to a case study of a fictional school where the participants are asked to identify a particular issue that they can see through the paperwork that they've been provided with, and then to suggest some solutions to that problem and how they might implement those solutions. So it's really a practical assessment, a bit like you might find that you came up against in a job interview for that sort of role, where you're being asked to take in and assimilate an awful lot of information about a school. So that might be some policy documentation, that might be some budget information, an Ofsted report. It could be transcripts from various meetings that could well have taken place. And through looking at that range of evidence, you'd then be asked to identify an issue, as I say, and then to suggest some responses. The challenge, or I think it would be a challenge, and it certainly would be a challenge for me, is that there are a limited number of words in which to make that response. So you only have 1,500 words in which to craft that response to that case study in the work that you would undertake. But as I say, it's different in that it's a summative assessment, so it comes right at the end, and it's undertaken nationally within an assessment window, and you have that 8 days to both receive and respond to the case study.
So in some respects, a bit more manageable in terms of workload going through the course. And I guess that leads me to my last question. Obviously, we know that people that are looking at this next step in the career are busy people. What would you consider to be kind of the biggest time commitment or an accurate time commitment that people would be expected to make to complete the course?
Yeah, I think that's a really important question, particularly at the moment when, as you say, there are so many other pressures on people's time. And we know that creating that space for a work-life balance is really important, but also prioritizing your own professional development is an important step in being able to prepare you for that next step in your career and your journey. As I said, we've scheduled our modules to last for 12 weeks. So the intensity of the program is really for the 12 weeks that a module is running. Within those 12 weeks, we've also separated out each of those activities, and we provide you with a timetable of activities across those 12 weeks so that it's easier for you to manage your time, manage the commitment that you're making, and stay up to date really with the information that you're being asked to process. So within any one given week, you are probably looking at about 2 hours worth of work in terms of online study. If you've got a webinar in that particular week, then there won't also be online study to do. It would just be the webinar that you were expected to do. And we would work with Thames Gateway Teaching School Hub to determine the time at which to schedule those. So for example, our first cohort have selected to have their webinars as twilight sessions. So we're running those in the evening so that they don't clash with anything that might be happening during the school day. And then the face-to-face day sessions, really that's a commitment of 4 days across the 18 months to be out of school for a full day in order to undertake that face-to-face study. But the rest of it is online. It's a digital platform. It's an access anytime, anywhere platform. So if you're more comfortable working at 8 o'clock at night or more comfortable at working at 6 o'clock in the morning, you can access those online materials at a time that best suits you.
Thank you, Nicola. That's been really helpful. So hopefully that has given you an overview of what to expect from the Executive Leadership NPQ. The deadline for applications is Friday, the 21st of January. So you've got a little bit of time left to make that application if it's something that you've been considering. And if you do need any further support, then please don't hesitate to contact me, Faye McGill at Teaching School, Thames Gateway Teaching School Hub, or Elsie via their website. Many thanks for your time, Nicola.
Thank you very much.